Hello again, and welcome to the next step in your SavePoint journey. In the previous video, we set up our SavePoint profile and set up our initial budget. Now, we're going to move on to the Accounts module. This is where you'll add all of your financial accounts, like your checking account, savings account, credit cards and investments, and really anything else that you'd like to track. This step is really the foundation for everything else within SavePoint. Once your accounts are in, you'll be able to track your transactions, see your net worth updated in real time, and allow for deeper tracking of your budget. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to add your different accounts and see your complete financial picture come together. So with that, let's get started. First, we will begin with learning how to navigate the accounts page itself. So assuming you weren't here already, and we'll start at the dashboard, let's click on the accounts in the left-hand sidebar. This will bring us to the main accounts page where we are now. And right at the top of the page, you'll see four really important summary cards. We have total assets, which represents what you own. Next up in red, we have total liabilities, which represents what you owe. Next to that is net worth. This is simply your total assets minus your total liabilities. And lastly, next to that is total accounts, which represents essentially the total number of accounts that you've added in SavePoint. Since we're new, this is pretty much all empty. The only accounts that you see right now, there are 17. These are the default accounts that you've added into SavePoint. Since we're new, the accounts table currently only shows the default accounts that come with the program. Before we add our first account, we like to continue explaining the layout a little bit more. So at the top right here, we have three buttons. We have the Help button, which opens up an in-screen, in-program help guide that you can use to quickly reference within the program while working within SavePoint. An Import Accounts button, which allows you to import multiple accounts at once from a CSV or an Excel file. And then an Add Account button, which allows you to manually add one account at a time. Down below in the table, you can see the default accounts that are added when you created your SavePoint profile. We can see the total accounts we currently have again are 17. And there are several buttons that allow you to make this interface a little bit more user-friendly. So first we have a button that allows you to hide the inactive accounts. Currently, all of our accounts are active, so there really isn't anything that this button will do. There's a button to hide the asset class column right here. So if you want to click this to hide that column, you can click it and it will hide. And lastly, you can also choose to hide the links column by clicking this button right here. This allows you to make the display a little bit less busy, but if you prefer to have all of these columns active, you can just click the button and then they will become live again. Within the table itself, we have a few different columns, and we'll just walk through them quickly. We have the account name, the account type, the account class. This is essentially the same as asset class. The current balance, the date the balance was last updated, the status of the account itself, whether or not it's an active or a disabled account, and also a field for links. And there are also two control buttons. So we have a button to edit the existing account right here. And we have a button to disable or deactivate an account as well. We recommend disabling accounts instead of outright deleting accounts, as it could lead to data integrity issues down the line. And if you don't like the SavePoint default accounts, we recommend either editing them to fit what makes sense for your financial situation or just disabling them outright. Disabled accounts may be hidden from most views, but it will preserve the historical data. There may be some financial calculations that they will not be included in, so please be mindful of that when you deactivate accounts. Now that we have a general idea of the layout, let's add our first account. We'll start by clicking the Add Account button in the top right corner here. In a future video, we'll discuss how to import multiple accounts at one time using the import feature. So clicking on this button here, it opens up a simple form. There are a lot of categories to fill out. We'll walk you through it. To start, let's add our main checking account first. In the account name field, you'll want to give it a clear and descriptive name, something descriptive to the bank, such as SavePoint Checking, or let's say SP Checking. Should work great. The next two fields are interconnected, and they work together through SavePoint. We have the account types field and the asset class field. So account types are labels that describe the specific nature of your accounts. For example, is this a checking account, a credit card, or a school loan? SavePoint includes 30 plus built-in account types, and you can create custom account types through the settings system to match your specific needs. You can be highly specific or broad with how you use your account types to describe your accounts. So when you click on the drop-down here, you'll see many different default account types that SavePoint has provided right out of the box. Each account type are pre-populated as an asset or a liability class on the back end. Again, an asset representing what you own versus liabilities representing what you owe. A checking account would be an asset class, and a credit card would be a liability class. As this is a checking account, we're going to select checking account in the field right here. And then next up, we're going to move on to the asset classes. Before we selected checking account, which is an asset, the asset class field shows only asset categories by default. So here, if we click on this, we'll see liquid assets, household assets, investment assets, and those are the different choices we can choose. If we had selected credit card, and we'll just do that very quickly, the asset class field will only show liability categories. By default, we have short-term liabilities and long-term liabilities, for example. So let's switch this back to checking accounts, and we will continue on. So as account types describe the specific nature of your accounts, asset classes are a way to group different accounts by the nature of the underlying financial asset itself. For example, liquid assets, real estate, etc. These are higher level financial categories used to group similar types or categories of accounts. Your different asset classes will also show up as categories within the balance sheet, and these are used for balance sheet organization. SavePoint provides 10 default asset classes that cover many standard financial categorization needs. Additional can also be added within the settings. Since this is a checking account, we'll choose liquid assets. And just so you know, liquid assets essentially is a term for cash and similar assets that you can access easily. So moving on, you'll see some optional fields below. You don't have to fill these in, but they are helpful for you, or at least they can be. So the first up is financial institution, for example, SP Bank, so we will put this in here. The opening balance could also be added if you know it. If you don't, you can leave this blank. The balance sheet will use the most up-to-date information when calculating your net worth. So for now, we're just going to leave this one blank. Next up, we have currency. SavePoint has multi-currency functionality. By default, currency is set to the US dollar, but if you have accounts that are in another currency, you can choose to change the currency field to the currency of that account. Currency and exchange rate can also be changed in the settings section of the program. If you don't have an exchange rate set, the account will display the account currency label, but the conversion will assume 1-to-1 unless updated. So we do have a few other optional fields. You can choose to update the opening date of the account and also add the account number as well if you'd like to. Both fields can again be left blank. For your security, SavePoint will only show the last 4 digits of your account in the accounts page. And again, in this offline only version of the program, there is no connection to the internet. This is an optional feature for your convenience. You could also consider for added security, just entering the last 4 digits by default. Now, the next optional field is an interesting one, and this is the ability to add an external account link. This could be a link to your bank or your credit card's homepage, or a direct link to the URL where you can download the CSV from the bank. The idea behind this is to make your reconciliations each month easier by giving you a quick one-stop shop to gather the spreadsheets to allow you to quickly update your transactions and balance sheets by quickly being able to import them into the program. In the offline-only version of the program, a button will appear in the accounts table if you fill in an external account link, and you'll be able to click that button to quickly access a local browser within the program itself. So we will put in a quick link. And we'll put in our website here. And lastly, you can add any additional notes that you would like to store for your reference in relation to this account down below. So if everything looks good, we'll click on Save Account, and it should save here as SP Checking. If we scroll down, we can find it below here. It's a checking account, liquid asset. We did not include an opening balance, so it's 0. And we have the last 4 digits of the account number showing. And also here we can see that link to our external account page, our SavePointFinance.com website. And that's pretty much it. So within this, the first account is within the table, and you can see all of the information that you need. So now, one last change. Let's see if we can edit one of our existing accounts just to show you what it's like and quickly make it our own. SavePoint already has a credit card by default, so let's scroll down. We have a credit card 1 right here. So let's edit this one and make it our own. So let's click Edit. So we load up credit card 1, and again, this is a credit card account type and a short-term liability account. We can leave most of this the same if we'd like to. The only thing we may change is we're going to name it to SavePoint Card, and the institution again will be SavePoint Bank. And we'll leave everything else the same. Maybe we'll add the last 4 digits of the card, 5432, and save the account. And then we have SavePoint Card organized nicely down below. And we did this because it'll be nice to see a liability account as well as we're going through this video. By the way, I just want to add a quick note regarding investments. In SavePoint 1.0, if you have investments, you'll want to add them in the accounts page as well. For higher level tracking, you can add a brokerage as its own account, and we have a default one up in here, brokerage 1 and brokerage 2, or you can add each individual investment itself as its own account. So for example, you can add a company's individual ticker, a mutual fund, or anything else that you'd like to track. Just make sure if you do this to not double count. So if you add a brokerage as a higher level account within your accounts page, don't also count the individual holdings within that brokerage on the individual level again. Otherwise you risk, again, double counting in terms of your net worth. Okay, now let's look at what we've done. If you look at the accounts table, you now have a full list of your accounts. But more importantly, let's look at those summary cards at the top. You can instantly see your total assets, that's your checking, your savings, and 401k all added up, your total liabilities, which would include your credit card debt, and your net worth. So now, just by adding these accounts, we have the ability to take a high-level snapshot of our entire financial position. If you'd like to transfer accounts from another software or quickly add accounts instead of adding a new account one at a time, you may use our Import Accounts tool. In short, you can download a template CSV and add fields of interest to you. That's this button right here, the Import Accounts tool. And by doing this, it allows you to upload them directly through the importer. We won't go through the entire process in this video. If you'd like to learn more, please feel free to check out our how-to video on importing data, which includes some details on importing data for accounts, transactions, and more. So, with that all said, naturally it is possible that things can change. If you ever need to make an update to an account, it's pretty easy. You saw us do it for the credit cards. You can simply click the edit button right here. Let's do it for credit card, SavePoint credit card. And you can click this button and you can make changes to your account at your pleasure. Again, this is the same way that we did it before when we were editing the credit card account, the default credit card account, to make it our own. So now that we have our account set up, one major question remains, and that is, how do we actually update our account balances? Like we described earlier, accounts are used in major parts of the program, like the transactions page and the balance sheet module. Within transactions, you have the ability to link different transactions to an account to allow more in-depth reporting. For example, you can upload transactions and attribute them to that new credit card that we added. This is optional. It would generally not change anything in this page particularly. Transactions within SavePoint, so using the transactions page. Transactions represents income and expenses, but not total assets and total liabilities as far as reporting here is concerned. To update your current balance, which again we see our total assets and total liabilities, you would need to update your balance sheets. And so how do we do that? Very quickly, just to show you, we'll visit the balance sheet page right here. Let's scroll down and we'll see SavePoint Bank somewhere here under liquid assets. And let's just click on this, and we'll click this edit button as well. And let's say we'll add $500, and we'll add to December 1st, and we'll save that balance, $500 in the SavePoint checking on October 1st. So then we'll scroll down, and let's also add an entry to the credit card as well, and let's add $250 balance for the same October 1st. And so this is the manual way of editing balances. We'll go into these in more detail in another video, but we can go back now to our accounts page, and we should be able to see our total assets are $500, our total liabilities are $250, and our net worth is also $250, because net worth is our assets minus our liabilities. And we can also see here that if we scroll down to checking and the card, we can see that $500 is in the checking account, and our card has a balance of $250 as well. So these numbers are pre-populated in the table directly here. And by the way, if you don't want to scroll, you also have the ability to visit the settings page, and you can enable a collapsible view of your account, so something like this. And this is very nice if you don't want to have to scroll through all of your accounts and have all of your accounts viewable to the extent possible without having to scroll down. And that just about sums up how to add accounts and how to quickly view their information at a high level. You may be spending more time in the transactions page and also the balance sheet when working with the program on a daily basis, as the accounts page itself can be relatively constant. Don't forget, if you need to add more accounts, modify account classes, or make any other changes, you can do so in the settings page. With your budget set up and your accounts in, with this, you're ready for one of the most important and rewarding parts of the program, and that's now tracking your day-to-day spending and balances. So in a future video, we will go into what it's like to import data using the import feature, the transactions page, the budget page, the balance sheet, for example. Now, as for adding accounts, you pretty much know everything you need to know, and thank you very much for watching. For any additional questions, we do recommend reviewing our help guide within the program itself, on our website, or through our support channels. Thank you.